Right.
So I want to start off by talking about your journey, because you started at Duke, playing football.
Yeah.
So just talk about that upbringing, maybe even prior to college.
Wow. That was a long time ago.
I know.
A long time ago. I grew up in Atlanta. Went to high school in Atlanta. Got recruited out of Georgia and ended up going to Duke University. For me, probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. Just understanding kind of how things were. I grew up in the segregated South, so opportunities were limited for folks like me. But once I got there, it was a godsend. So played there 4 years from 1976 to 1980. After that, I left and started working for a bank in Baltimore, Maryland, and Columbia, Maryland. So did that for about 3 or 4 years. Then my brother was a really good tennis player, so I helped him out for a little bit. He played on the tour for a little bit. He was at Vanderbilt University, so I did that for a few years. Then I decided to go to law school after that. So did law school, and from that period of time, that's when I got into college athletics. So Paul Houlihan, who was the AD at Vanderbilt, played at North Carolina, so I used that Duke North Carolina connection. So he hired me as the assistant AD for compliance. I was the first black administrator at Vanderbilt. So did that for about 4 years. Left there, went to the Big Ten Conference and worked for Jim Delaney, associate commissioner. I did that for about 6 years. Left there and became the commissioner of the SIAC. So I did that for a couple years, and then left there and became the commissioner of the SWAC. And then for about 7 years. And then left there and went to NCAA.
Yeah.
Senior Vice President of Student Athlete Affairs, did that for 7 years. And then I've been here for almost 13 years now.
I know, a long tenure.
So yeah, so I've been around for a bit.
Yeah. So you said that Vanderbilt connection was from the North Carolina connection, but your brother was at Vanderbilt, and then your wife as well, right?
She went to Spelman.
She went to Spelman.
So I met her on a blind date.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so I was telling you about that book that I was reading, the one about Perry Wallace. Yes. And so the year you started at Vanderbilt was 1989. Yes. And that was the year that he came back on campus, retired his jersey.
Right.
And they kind of recognized him for breaking that racial barrier. And in a sense, you both are pioneers at that school, which is insane because people are continue breaking that barrier, during that time.
Correct.
So when did your relationship with Perry start? And how was it from that?
Yeah, it's from me working at Vanderbilt.
Nice.
So because he came back as an alum, was really great with his time and talking to the student athletes. Fantastic person, wonderful person. Yeah. Him being the first black student athlete for men's basketball, coming in and playing. I mean, so what he went through at that point in time, playing in the SEC during that period of time, and that's valuable information. Yeah, could always share it with everybody.
Yeah. Perry probably dealt with some of the similar things that you dealt with being in the segregated South.
Probably even more.
Yeah. He stayed at home, stayed in Tennessee, but dealt with the small things of having guns pointed at him, people were telling him he couldn't go to church because he was black, but he wanted community, he wanted fellowship, and through all the racial segregation, even with him going to the Mississippi Ole Miss, I think it was, and calling him all types of slurs, no support from his teammates or his coaches, but they took him in as family. He went through a lot, but the whole time held composure.
Huge.
Held a lot of composure.
No question about it.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the pioneers that we need to keep talking to, because if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be sitting here. Yeah. And a lot of us would not be sitting here. So no, that's very, very huge.
With the Duke having a rich history, was the history of the secret game ever talked about? Yeah.
You know what? I did not learn about that until after I left Duke. But with that game being played secretly on campus, and Duke getting whooped, I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that secret is kept for like 40 years. Like
seriously.
Or it's 40 years. It was a long time.
A long time ago before it really came out and people really understood it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I mean, just talk about how important it is to be a pioneer, because I think like even Perry Wallace, not everyone knows his name. Someone like you, not everyone knows your name, but you guys have broken barriers in collegiate athletics. So talk about what that means to you, just holding that legacy of your own.
You know, to be honest with you, I never even thought about it like that. You know, you're just trying to do a job at that point in time. Like you're trying to make a living, you're trying to build a career. But now that you think back on it, yeah, you know, you've been through things that people haven't been through. And you're trying to understand that. So when you can pass on that type of knowledge and information, that, you know, I think it helps. It helps along the line. So, you know, I don't think of myself as a pioneer. I think of people like Perry Wallace as a pioneer. But I guess maybe I might be.
You are.
Yeah.
You need to hold that. You definitely are. And I think people need to say your name more and recognize that, because you have paved a way for other people at Vanderbilt, here at Detroit Mercy, through the NCAA, especially holding a senior admin role where colored people they're lacked at the end of the day, even to today. You know?
That's a great point. Now, I will say this. I think I've figured out with what I've done, one of the few people, black or white, in this business. I've seen it at the campus level, at the conference level, at the national office level. So, and in significant roles. So I've seen a lot of things that everybody hasn't had. And then, so I've seen it at all levels. I understand it at all levels, and I'm not thrown for a loop anymore. Because I mean, I know people, I know where to go, I know who to talk to. Relationships like this are built. So yeah, you know, I think you're right. I think from that standpoint, I found it very valuable, very valuable experience.
Yeah. I guess where I'm trying to go with this is like, you know, what kind of kept you going through it all? Because I'm sure you've dealt with so many things, and it takes a certain type of person to persevere through that and keep pushing and reaching your goals, because all you've done is climb up the whole time. So dealing with that segregation in sports and during football, because I know it was terrible during that time too, like what was your main motivation kind of to keep going at that point?
Well, I enjoyed playing. So I think that was first and foremost. I didn't know what I was getting into. You know, I had great teammates on the squad who are friends today. I got to thank my parents for helping me get through. I got to thank my wife for what she's done, and she's been through what I've been through over the last 35 years. So I look at it in that aspect and see. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to be somebody that, you know, you could actually say, hey, you know what? If he can do it, other people can get it done also. So, and I think I've done it, like, you know, for the most part. I think being here at Detroit Mercy has given me an opportunity to maybe share some of the information with people and kind of what's been happening over the years. I still believe, you know, I thought we were trending upward with administrators, athletic directors, conference commissioners, but we've kind of plateaued a little bit. And I'm not certain why that is. You know, because there are a lot of good people out there within this business right here. So, and I've seen some of us, unfortunately, fall by the wayside, get terminated, get fired for reasons that you don't quite understand, because other people have done some things, and I'm not saying they're bad things or anything like that, but just, you know, success. I mean, success is so important. Giving people a little bit more time in the job to complete some of those things that they're trying to do. I don't think we always get that time to complete some of those, things that we're trying to do. So, and I don't know why. I'm not sure. I think from my aspect, having worked at the SIAC, you know, with schools like Morehouse and Clark, Atlanta, and Tuskegee, and then gone on to the SWAC with Alabama State and Grambling, and for me, that was a godsend. I think that working with HBCUs in this time, I think at the SWAC, we were able to get ESPN to come in and become the broadcast partner of the SWAC. At that point in time, ESPNU was just coming into effect, and so it was brand new. So we got on the ground floor of ESPN and part of the ESPN family of channels, and so that partnership is now still existing, 18, 19 years later, and it's grown exponentially. I was recently down in Atlanta with the MEAC SWAC Challenge, and so it was the 20th anniversary of that. And so we helped start that while I was at the SWAC, Dennis Thomas and myself. So it was great to go back to see everybody. But those are hidden gems.
Yeah.
And what I would want people to know and understand that without those schools, there'd be no Perry Wallace, there'd be no Robert Vowels. Because they were there before we were. Eddie Robinson at Grambling, probably one of the greatest coaches of all time. Put how many players in the NFL? I mean, if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be sitting here.
Like, what are your plans to continue making sure that the minorities of our league, those voices are heard?
Well, I wish we, a couple years ago, the Black athletic directors had kind of gotten together and met on a regular basis as a group and just talked about things. We aren't doing that right now, and so that's been kind of disappointing. I think what I'd like to do within the league, though, and you're part of it. I mean, I think what you're doing today for me and everybody else is you're putting some sunshine on some things. So I think that helps. I mean, because you get lost in the daily grind. I'll be honest with you. And sometimes you don't think about what you probably need to be thinking about, or just taking a breath to do that. So you've helped me today, maybe think a little bit more about that, because I have not been focusing on it like I probably should. Yeah.
I'm going to share something. So I just was at the McLendon Experience Leadership Week, and I think what you're saying right now, that's how I reflected, was just like, it was a time to sit back and be like, wait, yeah, I've been on the go, but it's like there's so many questions you're not addressing, that you're not reflecting on, and that are a bigger picture. But I think we've been on go. You have to be on go all the time. You have to be on go.
No question.
And I think the one question they asked was, what's a question that you need to ask yourself that you've been avoiding to ask yourself? And I think it stabbed everyone in the chest.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, like I really have to sit back and be like, wow, like what is that question? But I do think that it is important to, like you say, shine a light on this, but also like be real and authentic about it, because it is our reality.
It is. You got to focus on it, and I'm glad you kind of helped me kind of get myself checked back into it, because you're right. When you kind of look back and think about things, and then you don't think about it for a minute, I mean, that's when things get lost. That's when things, fall by the wayside. So I appreciate you doing that, because now I can think about it like just a little bit more than what I've been doing.
For other students of color, student athletes, people in the world, whoever, that are trying to make an impact, make a change, but also kind of find their way up that ladder in a career in sports, what kind of advice would you give to them?
That's a great question, because I think over the years people have asked me about that, and I'm always willing to help. Be it resume looking, and just linking people with other people, tying people in. I think that what we need to do, going forward, just like yourself, it's about this. It's about conversation. It's about sharing information. It's about taking the time to help somebody. So if anybody does call me or inquires, I'm always like, let me introduce you to this person or that person, because I think that's what I can do. That's what I can give based upon my experience over the years. So I'm always willing to help. I probably need to do more of it, like most of us need to do, but I think that's the first and foremost. I think the other thing too is that when somebody asks you about where you've come from, like what you've done, how you've gotten to the point. There's no one way to do it. But the one way to get it done is to make sure that you're involved, that you're always thinking about things, that you're always trying to figure things out, and then just kind of move from there. And then, as we all know, you have to build your network. And your network can go wide and far. And if people have been in the business for a while, they know people. And I think that's the connection too. So networking, making sure that we're just talking on a regular basis, a lot of good things.
No, I definitely agree. I do feel like, you have to have conversations, you have to network, because the conversation we're having now would have never happened if, you know, we never found those in-depth connections, which I'm very appreciative of. Yeah, no, I don't know, I just have so much respect for you, just because, like, I'm over here sitting here, like, almost getting emotional because it's just real life stuff that people go through, but you've made such a difference and climbed such a...
I appreciate it. It's, you know, it's about having coffee chats. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just about getting together. You know, you've helped me just think back on some things that I just haven't really thought about. But I appreciate it because, you know, it needs to be discussed and talked about on a regular basis. I mean, I do think back now, you know, here again, and I'm just going to go back real quick. So, and I'll give you a quick story. So, lived in Alabama for a minute, and I was probably in the 4th grade, and we have these kind of Olympics. And so, you know, we'd run, you know, the 50-yard dash or whatever. So there's another African-American kid, this was in Talladega, Alabama. And so another African-American kid who was running with me. And we both won the race. It was a, I think, maybe a 50-yard race. And the principal of the school hugged the white kids who finished 3rd and 4th, but did not hug myself or Clarence, who was like the other kid. And I was in the 5th grade. Mm-hmm. So I kind of began to understand there's something different going on in this world than what, you know, and so that's always stuck with me. It's always stuck with me. So, and that's probably propelled me to be probably the person that I've been. So, like we've said, you understand it. Living in the segregated South, how things are right now in the world, in America, it is coming back full circle again. I've seen what's happening in the world right now again, what's happening in the United States right now. I've seen it before. It's nothing new. We just have never addressed it the way it needs to be addressed. So hopefully at some point in time with conversations like this, with helping you, and I don't have the energy anymore. But you do. Yeah. You do. I'm on my way down and out and moving on, but you're not. So you need to pick up where I'm leaving off and making sure that we get some things done.
Yeah.